Hello, this is Thaddeus Gassy with the HMIS team at Crisis Response Network. This, this training is for verbal ROI capture and the use of the ROI tab. Let's get started. First, we'll go over how to present the verbal ROI. If a client is seeking assistance alone or with household members under the age of 18, please read this exact script to the client. Be patient and ensure the client understands. The information that you share with us today will be entered into the region's Homeless Management Information System. This means participating agencies will have access to the information that is entered into the system. This includes your identifying information and details relating to your housing and homeless situation. More information about how your information is shared is available on the Privacy tab of our website, www.hmisaz.org. Do we have your consent to release your information to the participating agencies? Now, if it hasn't already been asked, gather the names and dates of birth for the household members who are under the age of 18, in other words, the minors. The script should be read again for any other household members who are adults, aged 18 and older. Each adult must answer for him or herself. This is just like the signed ROI process. After all replies are gathered, you must note these in HMIS under the ROI tab. Let's go there now. We use the ROI tab to show that a verbal ROI was obtained. We encourage you to also use it to show when a signed ROI is obtained. This will make it easier to quickly check a client's ROI status. First, before reviewing or creating the client's record, you should already be entering data through the correct project. This is done by clicking on Enter Data As up here in the right corner and selecting the project that is creating the ROI. Now, a few users will have their profiles already defaulted to the correct project, which would be listed over here. But if that is not you, if you don't have the correct project already defaulted on the left, then you're going to want to click on Enter Data As and pick the correct project. After that's done, and after retrieving or creating the client record, which is what I've pulled up now is an example client record, we're going to click on the ROI tab, which is located here. On this tab, we see a list of all of the ROIs that have been gathered for this client so far of any type. It will show ROIs regardless of yes or no answers. Since there's nothing listed, we're going to click on Add Release of Information. A dialog box opens, allowing you to input the fact that an ROI was obtained. This must be filled out regardless of a yes or no reply. Either reply must be recorded. If the client is already associated with a household in HMIS, as we can see here, the ROI dialog box will recognize it. Check each household member that has the same reply as the head of household. If other adults have a different reply, either yes or no, they should be recorded separately by pulling up that client's personal HMIS record and then pulling up that client's ROI tab like we just did, and then recording their different answer on their record. Since you're going to be recording a different answer on their record, make sure you do not include them in the checked list of names. Again, this is only for other adults in the same household with a different answer than the head of household. Heads of household with minors must have all the same response for the head of household and the minors. So if Fred is a yes, then Barbara should also be a yes. After selecting the relevant household members, we confirm that the provider is correct. And if we have used Enter Data As, it should show whatever we have picked as Enter Data As. Next is the Release Granted line. Here is where we mark their answer, yes or no. Again, this is not whether or not they were presented with an ROI. This is whether or not they agreed to share their information. Next is the start date. The start date is the day that the ROI was obtained, either yes or no. The end date should be 1/1/2099. This is because there is no expiration for their consent unless they change it with a future ROI. Under documentation, we're going to pick verbal consent. And then under witness, you're going to write yourself, but your actual name, of course. And a note, if you are going to be using, and we do encourage this, the ROI tab for recording when signed ROIs once again begin to be recorded. You can also pick that from the list here. This was a signed statement from the client when and if that occurs again. So once we've picked everything correctly, and I'm going to move this back to verbal, I'm going to click Save Release of Information. Now we are returned back to our normal screen. The dialog box has disappeared, and we have our first entry of records of releases of information. This one granted permission, and here are the dates. This concludes our training on how to process a verbal ROI with a client and also how to record that in HMIS using the ROI tab.